Oh hey internet, what is up? Welcome back to the Type QQ channel. Welcome back to Cuphead with our 86% save file. We're getting there. We're really, what's the word? Grasping at the, I don't know, I'm thinking of something vulgar. I just can't, it's just not coming to mind. Really coming towards the end of Cuphead here. And really, as we kind of showed last video, I think we have one level here left in stage 3, world 3 rather, and then it's off to the finale, whatever that may be. But to kind of lay out the scene for this video, you know, like I said, oh yeah, no problem, just one more level. That's it. That, you know, easy stuff, right? Just one more level, they say. And then it's to the last level, they say. Well, Jesus Christ, you know. Way to leave an imprint, World 3, by absolutely kicking my ass for the next, like, half hour. I had no idea that this boss would be, I would say, I don't know if you know, probably the hardest one that we came across, especially when it comes to the shoot 'em up ones. This is certainly the toughest one, and it makes sense. You know, the final shoot 'em up level, if you played this one after the mermaid one, or the Medusa one, whichever you count that one as. But yes, this one's got a lot of shit going on. You got your sort of Iron Giant mecha character, and he has 3 different things to damage. However, when you damage him, it's not like you knock him out of commission or their or whatever. You know, they actually become worse, like more dangerous potentially. So you have his little radar dish that shoots that laser. You have his chest that was shooting those sort of gadgets with the walls. And then below that you have that sort of stomach vent that shot out the little, like, traditional little shmup spaceships. When you damage all 3, he has that heart that comes out. And then damaging the heart brings out this one. But these torpedoes, they have that giant blast radius, so you really have to kind of, you do want to take care of them, but you do want to take care of them from afar. So you have this head now bouncing back and forth, and look at that, holy shit, we've got some ways to go. And sadly it gets uglier before it gets better, because I don't know. I guess these last couple of videos I've been really kind of like high on myself, like shit, you know, Cuphead ain't so bad, you know, we're the best around, no one's ever gonna take us down, and I thought, shit, we'll just steamroll this last boss, whatever it is, and we'll take on the devil, and you know we'll win the princess, you know. We'll get the Chaos Emerald, whatever the shit that, you know, this game has in store for us. You know, I thought we were just going to slam dunk it, and yeah, had no idea that this was in store for us. Just an absolute, you know, fisting right into the rectum. No idea. Just an absolute humbling of just our, not just our Cuphead play, but our shmup play as well. Although it did awaken the nihilist in me. Eventually we'll get there when we die enough, where I try to find, okay, you know, we try to find the how far we can press a sort of suicidal tactic before it not becomes so beneficial. We'll play really aggressive, and it actually kind of turns out pretty well, believe it or not. But as we're playing on these runs right now, we're wondering, you know, what the steps of taking this guy out is. Because, as you can tell, when you damage one thing, it really doesn't necessarily damage that thing. You know, you damage that sort of satellite dish, he then turns his head into a cannon, starts firing shrapnel everywhere. You know, you take out the little ships, and then all of a sudden these skull missiles start popping up. You know, you take out the, you take out his chest, and the magnet shows up. You know, so it's kind of like, okay, in what stage do we want to take down these 3 targets? You know, we do have to take them down. In fact, we have to take down the 3 followed by the heart that pops out. But, you know, we could fall into, you know, kind of this sort of combo the boss may have for us if we damage one part and the attack that follows out of that damage part is worse than the first when in conjunction with the attacks already going on. So it's a lot of trial and error of kind of like, what should we take out first? Immediately, the satellite dish seems to be public enemy number 1. With the shrapnel that he fires out of the cannon, not so bad once it's defeated. However, his stomach that shoots the ships that also turn into those missiles seems to be a sort of, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't type of scenario. The ships sometimes can be kind of easy to dodge, but there's a lot of them on screen. And then when you take care of them, those giant missiles come onto the screen that just kind of hunt you down. And you can shoot them down after a couple shots, but they leave that giant blast on the screen. So that's sort of the unspoken, you know, dark horse, if there can be even like a sort of phrase for that, of just like bastard area of the boss. Yeah. And this is with us with 5 HP as well. Just getting absolutely mauled. Yeah, you can see how those missiles just followed us around, and then when they finally blew up, it's yeah, they were just close enough to deal damage to us. So yeah, this is just all right. So now we're starting to implore a little bit of a real aggressive play. Born pretty much out of frustration, I would say, of like, okay, we can, you know, let's sit in front of something and just shoot it down with as much as we can, hoping that the sort of, you know, refresh rate, I don't know if refresh rate is really the word to use, or the, you know, the strategy that that comes from like being close to an enemy. So when you fire and your bullet hits an enemy, you can fire another bullet faster. You know, you can kind of get a faster rate or rapid fire off. So the idea is to, you know, dive really quick into something that's been bothering you and see if you can take it down rather quick. And that's kind of what we're planning on doing with the satellite dish up top there. But as you can see, there's also a sort of lag, not necessarily lag, but a cooldown on parrying, of course. So if you miss out on that sort of electric wall, you're in trouble. Kind of playing chicken with the satellite dish up top there, but I don't think it has too much hit points left. There it goes. So all but the center hole there. And I would say, you know, aside from those sort of skull missiles that seem to be unavoidable, not the worst. You know, yeah, my God. I mean, eventually, when you clear off all the sort of first forms of the boss here, you are stuck with, you know, the shrapnel, the missiles, and that hand that kind of tries to come up from behind you and give you the old reach around. So you do have to deal with that. There's no way of kind of working around a particular sequence to get you going on that. Yeah, those missiles are awful. You really have to, like, when they spawn, you have to go, oh shit, one's on the screen, take care of it now. You know, you really can't wait for it to kind of become a problem. You know, once it's on the screen, it is a problem. Yeah. that center module gone. Now focusing on the top. There goes the top. Hit by the spaceship. Actually, we're a couple hit points down. And there's that with another hit. I mean, we're using special attacks to get rid of those bombs now, too. So the heart's wounded a little bit, hoping not to get too close to everything. Using another special to take care of that thing. Alright, made it through that first form. Switching up our weapon here to go in the sort of like lobbing missiles, I suppose. What do you call it? I suppose that's what you call it. Bombs, I suppose. So instead of kind of chasing them down, we're really... Whoa, well, I was going to say... And look how little progress it is. Jesus Christ. You know, you know, as I'm struggling with that first part, I'm like, okay, so we're on the second form. Hopefully, at least we're making some progress, and we see, like, barely any. And I'm like, fuck. Holy shit. Like, when I was playing this, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be posting this. You know, is this going to be like Dean Takahashi? You know, me posting a video of me just, like, eating ass for an hour? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'd be, you know, unless I was just the funniest guy on earth, I don't know if I'd be watching that. Oh, man. I mean, I guess I should be thankful we're at 3 hit points right at this point now. Hoping it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be 2. The magnet just fucked us real... There it is. Jesus Christ. Oh, it's ugly. This boss is brutal. I think there's been previous bosses that's pretty much taken like one video to beat. I think, was it one of the pirate bosses? I forget now. I mean, to be completely honest, a lot of that stuff I've tried to wipe from my memory as soon as I got through, almost kind of like a giant relief. But I think it may have been that sort of pirate ship one. But this for sure is one of the shoot 'em up levels that I'm kind of like, Jesus Christ, we're really getting exposed here. Luckily able to get some damage on that chest module there with that attack that really didn't get as deep as we would hope. I mean, that's the one problem with the sort of suicide attack of your special attack, is that, you know, when you have it fully charged up, you turn into that bomb, and you kind of like, well, I hope the fuck I hit what I want to hit and not something along the way, you know? Yeah, and the special attack on this, it's a little slow, but if you can time it just right, I'm sure you can kind of... I'm sure you can take advantage of it. Yeah, but exactly, we're not necessarily doing a very, very good job of it ourselves. And there we go. On to the next form, which is certainly a good thing. So certainly we'll have to face Dr. Wahwee here and his energy crystals. And it's certainly not the hardest form. I would say this is probably one of the easier forms. You know, you really just have to avoid these sort of sparks, and then the sort of electric walls that sort of emerge and say, hey, you have to pass on the upper side or the bottom side. I mean, and that's actually great progress when you look at it. You know, when you're in that third phase and you're like, shit, we almost beat him. There's a suicide frustration there. But the problem I have is that I'm like, fuck, I only have 1 hit point. So it's a bit of a sort of you know, performance anxiety, you know, like, oh shit, I don't have any room to fuck up, I can't fuck up, and then, you know, you're kind of worrying about the smaller things and maybe don't see the whole screen, you know. So ultimately, like we've done in past bosses, we just need to get through a good portion of this boss in decent health, maybe not even taking damage. So we have the opportunity to, Jesus Christ, did we just get pounded? Pounded. So we have the opportunity to kind of have some mistakes later on and kind of have some breathing room. And it's surprising to see there's not that much parryable stuff. You know, you have this guy that comes in the middle where you have to parry, but you figure some of these screws and bolts would be. Nope, not a single pink one. I mean, granted, that guy is always pink, but he always has to be pink. Alright, everything is damaged now. And none of the bomb guys. You know, granted they explode, but hey, here we are. I was going to say 4 hit points, but now down to 3. But we'll take it. You know, 3 hit points in this area. Better than we have seen in the past. And really, if you ignore the fact that we are, you know, packing a certain, you know, accessory in our inventory, you know, maybe this is a perfect run in an alternative universe, you know. There we go. And actually onto that next form as well. Dr. Wahwee. Down to 2 hit points. Switching it back up to our sort of regular fire, which I think is a good idea. Down to 1. And I think that's an amazing thing that this level does. Is that as that wall is moving down, you know, you see it, and you're like, okay, I know where I need to go. And it subliminally tells you that, like, you know, eventually you need to be at the bottom of the screen. And just at that point, you know, where I, you know, might be having a few thoughts going on in my head at the same time, I just instinctively move down into a bullet. You know, it's one of those things where it's like you kind of feel like a fool and just a overall trash player, but you kind of have to, like, you know, give the nod to the game and be like, you know what, I see what you did there, and you know, good on you. Recently, I was talking about how Kaiken does the same thing, another shoot 'em up game, how it has some really bastard-like areas that the game kind of dupes you into, into being into some really not so good positions while it fires death upon you. And it's one of those things like I haven't been able to wire my brain out of it, you know. But 3 hit points again in this area. Well, here we are. 2 hit points in this area. I should have never even said anything, right? I just jinxed myself. But I mean, those sort of dropping missiles are really good for the robot head, but not so much at taking out those missiles. So it might really behoove us to think of a different strategy in that area, be a little bit more universal. So here we are, being very, very aggressive, and being kind of a little too foolish there, but yeah, just really going in there, kind of playing chicken with the satellite dish. But ultimately, kind of shooting that middle area, keeping an eye out for those bombs. And that was actually kind of lucky as well that we were able to drop a full super move onto him while that bomb was kind of spawning as well. So into this form with 4 hit points. So it's coming along, it's getting better. However, we're showing that, like, Okay, now we can kind of defend ourselves against the bombs with this sort of attack, or at least the ones that come from the long side of the screen, and not from behind us. But we are doing 0 damage to the boss. So here we are. Now we're kind of learning that we need to switch it up. You know, we need to do a little bit of both. And it's not too hard to do. It's just the like L1 button. Alright, 2 hit points onto the final stage. Not really in a better position than we have in previous runs. There it is. Yeah, now we're really just kind of testing our luck, as it were. There it is, taking that down. And there's actually a interesting exploit that we're going to learn not too far. That kind of rewards you for being pretty reckless when it comes to positioning. You know, which it certainly isn't necessarily our forte. You know, we're not the type to kind of, you know, rush in there. We're generally one of those sort of giant babies that hang back in the back row and on the far edge of the screen, shooting bullets and dodging all the attacks we can. You know, so it's just, I think it's just certainly one of those things like, you know, like, fuck, we've been fighting this guy for 3 hours. You know, what happens when we just sit in his face and just shoot him a ton? You know, when we no longer can rely on our ability to dodge things. Alright, final form, 2 hit points. One good dodge, followed by a shitty dodge. Drops us down to 1 hit point. Almost ate it there. Yeah, and kind of passing over that giant penis in the foreground kind of fucked up my vision. Not that I need to give an excuse, but certainly here we are with reckless abandon. We're kind of almost cluing our exploit with this run here. The idea is that if you actually hug the robot close enough, you almost can just forget about the walls entirely. Granted, you want to parry the walls, and these sort of pink guys with the electric walls is what I'm talking about. But you can almost forget about them because when you're so close to the robot, as you can see here, the walls take a while for them to charge and come up. So if you're kind of close enough, you know, when those enemies kind of, you know, shoot up their walls, it's going to shoot up behind you. So it's, yeah, we're just playing like garbage now just to rush it down and be annoyed with it. And actually you can see that, like if you rush close enough, for whatever reason he shoots right down. And you can see that it's still hitting us, but we're kind of learning that, okay, if we're close enough, you know, if we're just a centimeter closer, you know, it's not going to touch us. Yeah. Yeah, see how that works there? I mean, granted, you want to parry things, you know. That's how you're going to get your super up the fastest. Aside from just shooting and connecting against the boss or your enemies. But, yeah, that's a good way to kind of... Well, let's define good first before I you know, talk about whatever. Yeah, we're actually too close now. Yeah, that was just awful. We were actually so close, we were just kind of shooting past the boss. But yeah, there's a position somewhere on him that he'll just shoot straight down to his feet. There it is. Yeah, this is... I mean, what's so funny is that we actually produce a decent run out of this sort of reckless, abandoned bullshit, you know, where we are just like, fuck it, you know. If it's going to take us, you know, 3 hours to beat this guy, you know, I'm going to find the easiest way to beat this guy by playing, like, the lousiest, you know. But here we are kind of switching up our shots, which is certainly, I think, the way to go. Take down those, and then drop a bomb on the boss. However, yeah, I mean, it procced behind us, but then we ran into it. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how we got so bad. You know, I think it, you know, ultimately, like I said before, is that, you know, when we ended the last video, you know, it was like, oh, sure, one last boss. Fucking who cares, you know, like, we're going to beat the living snot out of him. And then when we were like, you know, it was a rude awakening, you know. Like, I didn't suspect that, you know, some random boss, you know, would be a shmup level that would just, pound us so mercilessly. And for me, at least until we get maybe to the final level, you know, like, you know, the hardest boss that we've come across so far. You know, we had the clown guy in stage 2, the dragon guy in stage 2. Was it stage 2 as well, I believe? But I think the dragon guy wasn't nearly as bad. The pirate in stage 3, which probably was, you know, wasn't too hard for too many people, but certainly difficult for us. But this guy, I think he takes it all, which is strange because, you know, you'd think that our strong point would be these type of levels. You know, we took down that mermaid like easy. You know, once we figured out not to waste time on her eels. Down to our final hit point. Almost got killed there. And there we go. Fucking R.I.P. dude. So it doesn't take us very long after we, you know, get to that final form. You know, it's just a matter of all those damn bombs and everything else coming from whatever. So, granted, you know, holy shit, it takes us 25 or actually closer to 30 minutes, but we make it through with a B ranking there, all the same, nevertheless. And you know what? It's done. You know, Jesus Christ, thank God, right? Actually, and that door opens over there? I didn't see that before. I wonder what's inside now. I mean, the door opened, and then the sort of on the garage there. I wonder now what's inside, if anything. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, do all that stuff. We'll come back and finish up Cuphead in the future.